be thinking of a situation where we have kids of 3, 5, 2, but they have to wait from morning to evening to have a meal. So that's the kind of situation I grew up in. And I am one person who loved so much. I loved her holding a microphone. I remember, and I used to see this gentleman who used to come within the community and do sensitization. And I used to say, I want to be that person one time. That's what I want to do. I want to hold a microphone and people give me their ears. People listen to what I'm going to say. So it happened that I started making small groups within the community and bringing young people together and do dancing. Then music, because that is also my passion. So by doing that, I started developing this commitment of supporting, because through these dances and singing, we also had time to share about what we are facing and also find ways on how we could mitigate the challenges that are within our communities. It's an initiative that was founded in 2009, and I'm one of the founders. Actually, we are 4 founders of the organization. One, you've just met him, that gentleman behind you.
Okay.
Is one of the founders. You will meet the other 2, who is Mohammed. And it's very interesting because we've got the Christians and the Muslims. So 2 of the founders are Muslims, 2 are Christians. So our interfaith work starts with us.
Yes.
because of the different religions that we come from. And our initiation in 2009 came about after realizing that all of us were doing community development work, but it was not beneficial to the community where we were born. So we had worked with different organizations. Remember, I was working with Children AIDS Fund, had worked with Uganda Youth Forum, but these organizations were rendering services in other areas. So, same applies to the other founders. Richard was working with YMCA, Wise Men. So I was working with YMCA under Wise Men, and the work that he was doing with the organization was not benefiting this community. Same applies, it was, I think it was Medi who had a kind of initiative that was supporting this community. Yeah, and same applies to Brian. So, we championed AFCAT. Actually, the very interesting story is that AFCAT came from our names. Yes, it came from our names. And I remember when we were brainstorming about what we should come up with, we were like, let's start an association, no. Let's start a group, no. Let's start a company, no. Let's start. I mean, it was a brainstorming session of trying to understand what can we do. And then we were like, why don't we just put our names down, and then whatever comes out from our names is what we go with. So we wrote down the names, picked 2 letters from each of our names. Damn, AFCAD was there. AFCAD was born. When AFCAD was born, actually we were thinking of so many things to do because of the challenges that are in this community. By that time, I remember cholera had affected so many people in this community, and we also had a problem with malaria. So many kids were dying, and we were like, okay, let's champion campaigns to create awareness about cholera, create awareness about malaria. And then we were like, okay, let's talk about education. No, let's talk about environment. No, we wanted to tackle everything that was coming within our minds. We're like, oh, we need this, we need that, we need this, we need that. So in 2009, by the close of 2009, we had started reaching out to fundamental organizations that were existing already and were seeking guidance. That's when I think one of the organizations was UDEL, when we met the founder and he said, what you need to do, you need to have a niche. You can't do everything. You need to sit down and say, we want to work on A, B, C, D. I can't tell you what you want to do, but I know you guys are brilliant, and I know you can come up with ideas of what you are going to do. So we came down, brainstormed, and we zeroed down to 3 thematic areas. That is youth economic empowerment, education, and health. So through these programs, our interfaith work runs around that. It runs around within those 3 thematic areas, and then we create different projects out of the areas that we have mentioned. What we are doing, actually I failed to mention that this community is predominantly a Muslim community. Why I say it's predominantly a Muslim community, and it was a hassle for Christians to get in. Yeah, Christians to get in, and we used to have so much of always people having wrangles, pointing to each other. Because I'm a Christian, because I'm a Muslim, I can't accept you to be part of this community. Yeah, and one of the interventions that we made, there were 3 interventions. One was we opened up interfaith dialogues. And then we used to relate our talks around the flooding. And they would say, okay, you're a Muslim and you're a Christian. When the floods come to Bwaise, does it segregate and go to a Christian or a Muslim family? No! We are all the same people, regardless of our religions. We need peace. We need to be thinking of how to develop our community, not to be thinking against our religions, that, I shouldn't be taken like this. Because I'm a Muslim, I shouldn't get married to a Christian. Why not? So those dialogues really created a very strong impact, because people started to realize that, we are fighting for nothing. We are the same people. And actually, they realized that it's the same God we are talking about. We are all talking about the same God. So all what we need is the betterment of this community. Don't be thinking, I'm a Muslim, I can't support a Christian. No. Then we also had a good example of ourselves. I'm working with Richard, who is a Christian, and I'm a Muslim. But we are working towards achieving a goal of creating peace, a goal of creating sustainable development and changing our community. So that needs to change. So those dialogues really helped. Then with the young people, especially the youth, we opened up interfaith sports, where we call different religions to come and have a kind of like a competition. So after that, because soccer joins everyone, regardless of your religion, your tribe, or wherever you're coming from. And I remember so many young people used to turn up. The first time we had about 300 young people coming for this event. And they came, and after they play, then before we award a trophy, that is when we create an awareness. This is something to show you that we can unite. We need to have peace. We need to understand our religions, yes. We need to respect the other one's religion also, because this is the life we live. The other intervention that we also used was music. Music and dancing is like food to the young people. Yeah. So we started composing. Personally, I composed songs. Yeah. So compose songs where you could bring a Christian, because the major religions that we have here is Christianity and Muslim. We've got other religions, but they are not so big. They're still here. We have the Baha'i, we have the Protestants, but it's not like so big. So the music was another thing that made wonders, and so many young people would come, dance, sing, show their talent, and then we give them the opportunity to be showcased on national TVs, radios, and that excitement. Did you see me on TV? So like, what we are trying to do is that you need to think and realize that the community needs us to be one. It doesn't need us to be segregated. How are we going to work upon our community being safe? Safe, because Waise was never a safe place. People were scared of it. And we're like, we need to create an image ourselves that people start to understand. They say Waise is not safe, but it's safe. I've actually been there. And it is us to do that. So that intervention was also another good one. And with that intervention, we organize what we call it Abana Veka, which is more like, we call it Return of the Champions. So these are young people who have been in Waise and have made it through different activities. It could be music, it could be dancing, it could be politics, it could be whatever. So this is a program that we run annually, and it's a program that brings over 500 young people together, and it gives an opportunity for those who have made it to come back and motivate the young people within the community, and then also to inspire. Have made it, have done it, you can also do it. Don't think having been born from here, it can't happen. It can happen, I've made it. But also to show that, I'm still holding the flag of Waise as my hometown. I'm still holding the flag, and I'm still supporting the peace to be in this community wherever I go. Basically what we do, we have a Muslim team, we have a Christian team. So they compete. That is what we did. But they were hesitant in the first place when we announced we are organizing an Interfaith Sports Gala. They're like, what are you talking about? No way. But later on, they came, because we went to churches, we went to mosques, and preached what we wanted to create and what we are after. And then they picked interest along the way, and the Interfaith Sports Gala started, we started doing it. Yeah. And in addition to the youth, we as well do the economic empowerment program, which gives young people an opportunity to acquire an employable skill. So it is our trainings are open to whoever wants to enroll into a skill, regardless of your education background, regardless of your religion, regardless of where you come from. They are open to the young people who are interested to acquire a skill, because we also realize that there is a gap, that even though we are doing all these activities, but people need to have to be empowered economically. And we thought the best thing was to come up with a program that can give them a skill they can use out there and a living. Yeah, the trainings are done here. Like just behind you there, we have a workshop for welding and metal fabrication. We have decoration and events management, computer graphics and application, then photography, video and TV production. Then we have electrical installation and repairs. We also have cosmetology. Then we have hospitality, baking. We also have tailoring and fashion design. Yeah. So the trainings are done here where we are. We will have a visit inside there and you see. With health, we have programs to do with sexual reproductive health awareness, and we also tackle the issue of sanitary pads or sanitary towels to young girls. Yeah. So with our campaign with sexual reproductive health, we do our awareness in schools. Then we also do it in communities. But we furthermore also have an intervention of households, where we go to a house and have a chat, because sometimes, not even sometimes, mostly Uganda, to talk about issues to do with things concerned with the sexual reproductive health is a hurdle. It's hard for parents to sit down with a kid to start talking about these issues. But traditionally, we have aunties, call them senga. So we have aunties. When a girl reaches her menstrual period, is supposed to be sent to an auntie, who again has now the time to talk about what is expected. When you have sex now, you can be pregnant, but it's not done by the father or the mother. Yeah, we have a special person that does that. So when you reach that age, you are sent to that person, who again now starts taking you through the process. So for us, what we are doing with the households, we are trying to involve families. We are saying, what is needed is us. It is our role as parents. It is our role. Yeah, we respect the tradition, but first it is us to take the initiative to ensure that we talk to our kids about sexual reproductive health. They need to know. It is better for a child to get to know from you, the parent, the father, the mother, not somebody else. Yeah. So we are trying that intervention with households to ensure that these talks start to be like normal to families. We have succeeded. So far, we've succeeded with about 50 families who have opened up, but we've reached out to more than I think more than 200 families that we've reached out. But 50 have now accepted, and the talks have started opening up. And when they share their stories, they're like, now my kid is so open with me. Even when he gets a boyfriend, you can say, I saw this boy. I saw this boy. Looks, yeah. So those kind of talks, and they're appreciating. Yeah. Yeah. Education is with kids between the age of 3 to 14. Yeah. So we run a primary school that we will visit, and you have a look at what happens. We run a primary school. It's called AFCAD Primary School, and it's a community school that is trying to give an opportunity to vulnerable children in the community. When we started the school in 2012, we say the school was for HIV-affected families and vulnerable children. However, along the way, it became a problem as the kids who are coming to this school started to be stigmatized. This is the kid who goes to an HIV school. You know, that kind of stigmatization in the community. Between the kids themselves, especially the kids themselves, I can't go to that school. So we had to revise. We had to revise, and what we revised was to open up the school to everyone. So we opened up the school to everyone, and you know, we initiated a fee to be paid as school fees, so that our program of supporting the kids remained as a scholarship program for the kids, or sponsorship program within AFCAD as an organization, where if a parent wants a child to be enrolled, comes to AFCAD as an organization, and you know, they fills up a form, asks a few questions. The one who runs that program goes to the community, sees the family, says, you know, makes that assessment and say, yeah, this person is eligible to be part of the sponsorship program that we run. So we have the sponsorship program that still gives an opportunity to the vulnerable kids and HIV, because that's our core. But also we opened it up to people who say, you know, I have my money, I can pay for my kids' tuition. So those ones also come in. So mostly we have those who come out of YC, and we have a few who come from the community. And we have those people from the community who say, you know, me, I just want to support the school. This is my money. Yeah. And it's good, especially with those kids, because as they grow, they know, you know.
You have a shake and some Christian side.
Hmm?
You have a school shake and another from Christianity.
So we have somebody, actually it happens on Fridays, right? Who comes in to give talks and prayers on Friday for the Muslims. And we have also somebody from the Christian fraternity who comes in to do the prayers. And we also have sessions where they are all joined to get to know about the different religions. Islamic teaches about this, but you know also the Bible teaches the same thing. So they recite what are they called? Proverbs. What are they called? Something that you read from the Bible.
The lectures?
Yes.
The gospel?
Yes. Somebody talks about what the gospel says, but also relates it to the Quran. So, you know, also the Quran talks about this. The Quran says this and this and that. You see how they are connected. So that kind of preaching. I think the biggest challenges we have around interfaith is people who have made religions into business. That's a huge challenge. So the preaching that is done in those platforms where they say, you know, I'm the reverend, I'm the pastor, I'm the whoever, I'm the sheikh of, I'm the imam of this mosque or church. Their preaching is business. So being a business, they also not preach the gospel of either Prophet Muhammad or of either what Jesus said, but they are preaching things that could attract more people to their churches to ensure that they make money. So that is a problem that Uganda is facing around interfaith. That brings that, you know, if Jaffar runs a church, I will ensure that I talk about Mary, who is running also church. That one is a very bad person. What he's preaching is not, because I have to ensure that I get your customers. Yes.
Okay.
So that is what is happening in Uganda. Of course, I am very optimistic. Because the thing is, I always want to see a vibrant, brilliant and sustainable community. So whenever I see something that is trying to divide up the community, it makes me go crazy. I'm like, what the hell are you even thinking? Sometimes I feel like I need to go either to a radio station so that I have a big audience and talk about the issue I've had. Yeah. Specifically within the Christian fraternity. The Muslim fraternity, no. Because Muslims have got their own teachings about women, and women are not given that opportunity. They can't preach in the mosque. No. Because that's the teaching. That is what the teaching is telling them. You know? So the women cannot preach. But in the Christian fraternity, yeah, we've seen this changing. So many women getting involved in the preaching in the church, taking up initiatives, taking up like positions within the church fraternity. Yeah. My definition of peace is a community free, united to ensure a change of that community and develop economically. That is my definition of peace. So interfaith is kind of related, because my also definition of interfaith is a better understanding. Yeah. So the place is called Bwaisetu Parish, Kawempe Division, and it's in Kampala district. Yeah. In our dialogues that we organize, we always ensure that we invite government officials to be part of our programs. There is no way how you can run programs without government interface. Yes. So from the hierarchies that I mentioned, now we have a division headquarters here, which is headed by the mayor. So we always ensure that our programs are known by the mayor, who again the mayor will represent them to the district level. So all our advocacy work is majorly done on a divisional level. Only that before the outbreak of this pandemic, we had started trying to expand our horizons. We wanted to go to other districts.
Nice.
Try and see, also give the same services that we offer. But since the pandemic happened, I think we have pulled back, because we are re-strategizing on how we stand again. And we feel it's better for us to strategize first with what we have here, to make it stand again, and then we can look out for other places. However, we as well work with other CCs, that are within the fraternity, and we do different activities together. If, like Kaome that you mentioned to me, if they have an initiative and it is shared, AFCAD will be part. If the spinner shares something with us and say, there's an activity, it's going to be in Igulu and it's about this and that, be like, yes, I'll jump on a bus and I'll be there to be part of the initiative. The other thing that I'm also doing, I want to start a capacity building program for small CCs. Yes, that are still struggling with how to make things, how they need to be streamlining things to be done. So I've already done a visit to Eastern Uganda, and I've visited the CIS, and I've also visited Igulu, where I've been, and I've done my assessment, so I know exactly what is needed, and I think around April I'll be starting off that work of trying to give capacity to these organizations. Yeah.